Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Cabinet meeting today in the pouring rain, but at least we're dry in here, and welcome to those of you who are joining us at home this morning. I'm going to begin the meeting this morning in the normal way. Are there any apologies for absence? No? Then the minutes of our last meeting, which were held on the 12th of March, which I will sign as a true record if everyone is happy with that. Are you happy with that? Proposed by Councillor Wehrmeyer, seconded by Councillor Passai. All in favour, please? If you're happy with that. And then disclosure of member interests. Was not received any, so we assume we're okay on that one. So we move into our first report this morning, which is number 4, which is the third quarter of our corporate plan performance report. And I'll ask our Cabinet member responsible for corporate resources, Councillor Richard Wehrmeyer, to take us through this report.
Thank you very much, Leader. As you say, this is Q3, the one before the big one, where we get to see how we did for the year, but needless to say, good progress across all departments. This is a report that we compile because we want to be incredibly transparent with both members of the Council and Northumberland residents as to how the Council's performing, and it's showing a very positive trend across a series of reports now. This being the third one for this quarter. What I'm going to do, because it covers and touches every part of the Council, I'm not going to speak extensively on all of it to give Cabinet colleagues a chance to come in and talk about their specific portfolios. I will make a few comments, though, particularly around those parts that are within my own portfolio, and just touching briefly on some other parts as well. So one that we discuss on a regular basis when we see this report is the amount of time that it's taking for our call centre team to answer telephone calls from members of the public. Pleased to say that that's getting even better. Not so long ago, it was up at over 2 minutes. We're now down to just 30 seconds for the last quarter, which is a fantastic achievement by them, assisted by some of the technology that we've put in place as well to make sure that we're triaging calls coming through in a really effective way and using people's time well. We've continued in other areas. We're doing a lot of work to make sure that we're increasing our spend with local contractors. We've spent nearly £100 million with local contractors in this last quarter, which is a maintenance of the level that we've achieved across a consistent period now, which is really good to see. Looking at education, I'm sure that Guy will want to talk about this. 97.9% of primary schools now good or outstanding is a fantastic achievement for all of our teachers, pupils and the education team here at County Hall. In terms of looking at other areas, superfast broadband now available to 96% of properties. We're making rapid progress on that, and there's a lot going on in that space to make sure that we achieve an even better total in the months and years to come. In terms of housing delivery, I'll not talk about the affordable housing bit in this one, but because we do that a lot. I will talk, however, about the number of homes that are being delivered. In the last year, I think the number there was 1,592 versus a target of 614, meaning that we've got homes being made available for residents in Northumberland. It's really important because it helps make sure that we don't see the runaway prices that we see in other parts of the country, in particular in the south. In terms of another area, we've dealt with 100% of rogue traders. Where we've had rogue traders being identified, they have been investigated in 100% of all cases. So again, well done to the council team dealing with that. And then finally, I'll talk a little bit about the environmental performance of the council. And great to see that we have now distributed all of our free trees, and indeed I think that we've managed to find some more trees by the look of it, to distribute to residents where they've wanted those. And in terms of the CO2 target of the council, as we continue our path towards net zero, we're overperforming against target by a considerable margin there as well. And saving on our bills with projects like the County Hall car park, all of the solar panels and other projects that we've got on council buildings. So with that, I'll stop and see if perhaps Cabinet members would like to comment on their particular portfolios. Thank you, Leader.
Yes, thank you very much for that. So the corporate performances are based on our three priorities, which are value for money, tackling inequalities and supporting business and growth and jobs. And so this is a very good snapshot, I think, of where we are in the third quarter, where we're achieving on almost everything that are key priorities for us, which I'm really delighted about. I'm very grateful to our officers across the council for helping us to deliver these. You did mention, I'm glad to say, some of those points around our climate and environment. Both those go together, of course, and how important it is for us to continue to work and invest in not just climate change remediation and doing everything we can there, but also in the environment that is around us. And we are very passionate about that. I'm very pleased to see the increase in the amount of free trees, as you said. That's a great figure, and I'm very pleased as well to see the amount of glass recycling that's taking place and how much more we are collecting. So that's all good, very positive news. I'm very pleased about that. Very grateful for all the work that's going on. Anything else from anyone else? Yes, Guy Renner-Thompson.
Thank you, Leader. There or thereabouts of our pupils are in good or outstanding primary schools. I should point out that unlike a lot of other areas of the county, the vast majority of those first and primary schools are still council-controlled schools. They're still maintained schools, so we can take, direct credit for that. It's our teams in there, and they're part of our structure. But even when they're not council schools, when they're academy schools, our school improvement team are still in there working really hard with the school leadership. So, it's something we can all be proud of, not just here at the council, but all those head teachers, all those governors, all those parents, everyone who's worked to get us to this point. It's a really colossal achievement.
That's great. So the one that I'm looking at particularly there is pupils in good or outstanding secondary schools as a percentage is fantastic. We set ourselves a target of 75% and we're currently at nearly 84%. So that's great. It really is. Getting kids off to the right start, right school, and all the work that we're doing, working within schools and all the staff involved, and actually the children themselves have much to congratulate themselves about. Councillor Veronica Jones.
Thank you. I just wanted to mention once again another £200,000 of funding has been provided to the voluntary organisations in Northumberland who do so much, who provide so much support themselves to our residents and to our communities, particularly in carrying forward all the work we're doing on inequalities. They are a major part of that. And can I also mention, Councillor Wearmouth did mention the increase in contracts to local suppliers and how important that is in terms of providing jobs locally for our residents. I was pleased to see that one.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's an extraordinarily high figure and very welcome. Just on your other point, the partnership working that we have with voluntary groups across inequalities work, we couldn't do it without them. We could not do it without them, and that very strong partnership working is a delight to see, and I'm really grateful to all those people involved for everything they do. We will get there. We are tackling inequalities. And we are getting there. Okay, so there we are. Anything else from anyone else? In that case, can I thank you, Councillor Wearmouth, for that good report. And we've got the recommendations, which are to consider the progress against the three corporate priorities as summarised in the report, which we have done. Again, grateful thanks to all our staff and our partners for us on this really exciting journey where we are getting there. So, is there a proposal? Councillor Posside, proposed, seconded by Councillor Wearmouth. Are you all in favour of those recommendations? You are. That's lovely. Thank you very much. So we turn to our next one, which is agenda item 5, which is a hugely important agenda item. I think the biggest piece of work that I have seen as a councillor that we have entered into. I'm very pleased that it is being led by Councillor Wearmouth because There is so much involved in this huge project, but very ably supported throughout by Cabinet Member Colin Horncastle for housing and also Councillor Veronica Jones for the inequalities work. In fact, all members are involved in this of the Cabinet, because without their support, we would not have got to where we are today. And again, the work that the officers have done is again exemplary. And it is a very, very major regeneration project, the largest, as I say, I have ever seen in this council. And it's a very major step, and I'm going to ask you to tell us a bit more about it, Councillor Wimmer.
Thank you, Leader. Yes, this is a really interesting, a significant piece of work that the Council is undertaking, and I think that we should highlight first of all that this is something that no previous council here in Northumberland has really grappled with, which is what to do about the long-term future of the Hurst and how we make sure that we make it the absolutely best place for residents from that community and now and in the future. It's going to be a significant piece of work, and for that reason it's going to take a significant amount of time because you've got to deal with that many complicated issues, not least making sure that we have the finance in place, but as well that we ensure that residents feel that they are fully on board with the work that's going to be undertaken, and it's done in an entirely collaborative fashion with residents, with homeowners there and with property owners there, because there are a lot of properties there that are owned by landlords as well. It's notable when you go into the Hurst and you spend time in the Hurst that it's very much reflective of its heritage. It was row after row of miners' homes. The properties, therefore, are all very much the same. And so you tend to find that those properties don't necessarily match what it is that people might require from modern-day life. And the aim of the master plan is to make a significant intervention in the first instance in that northwest quarter of the Hurst to show what can be done in the wider Hurst potentially as well. We're tackling another problem as we do so, which is the long-term lack of use for the Colson school site, which has sat there redundant for a period of time. The fact that we have that land available to us will mean that we will be able to do some potential decanting, that we'll be able to deliver new homes in a quick and efficient way, and then potentially to allow that decamp to take place so that we can undertake works in the Hurst more generally. There's been a lot of work that's gone on by council officers to make sure that this has been a well thought through and considered plan, but this is very much the early parts of the journey as well with residents. And so as part of the work we will be appointing 2 new posts, and those officers of the council will work closely with tenants, with residents, with property owners, with landlords to make sure that they understand how this is going to progress and over what timescale. The work is intended to reflect and dovetail with the work that's already going on in the town centre, which is considerable. We've managed to attract a significant sum of money into Ashington Town Centre, both through our own capital programme, but in particular as well through work with government. And so we have work going on at Portland Park, we have work going on at Wansbeck Square, and with the new station works, which is considerable investment in itself, and then in addition the new college, which is the best part of 45 to 50 million pounds worth of investment from the Department for Education, citing the new college at Wansbeck Business Park. So a whole load of things that are mashing together to make sure that we deliver a good town centre regeneration project in the context of the Hurst. There's loads that we could talk about, and there will be loads more that will be discussed with residents in the months and years to come. But I'll pause there for Councillor Horncastle perhaps to talk a little bit about the specific housing parts of what is a very, very detailed and complex plan.
Thank you, Councillor Wearmouth. Yes, the Hurst estate built at the start of the last century to house the people that worked at Woodhorn Colliery and the associated trades. 3,300 dwellings, a very, very proud community, as you can imagine, like all mining, fishing, agriculture, you name it, very, very proud. But unfortunately, it's now classed as a deprived area. It's one of the most deprived areas in the country. The problems we've got there, we've got unemployment, we've got housing problems, we've got empty houses, we've got absent landlords, not investing in their properties, antisocial behaviour, which itself, empty homes, which creates antisocial behaviour and crime. We've got energy and insulation problems with these old houses. And like Councillor Wearmouth has just said, this problem has been there for many, many years. And it's probably one of those things that's always been too hard to tackle. And previous administrations along with district councils have not really got involved to the extent that we are. This is without doubt the biggest project I've ever seen this council undertake. That's why it's going to take 15 years to do. But let's not forget, I mean, Councillor Wearmouth mentioned the finance and all the other bits around it. Let's not forget what this is about. This is about the people who actually live there. That's very important people. And we have a duty to provide modern, energy-efficient homes to these people. And the programme that Councillor Wearmouth has mentioned will enable us to build some new modern housing, work carefully with the people to move into modern housing. Some of the Hurst may, it's early days for actual details, but some of the Hurst may be demolished. But it is without doubt the biggest project I've ever seen, and it involves every single department of this council. It's not just this council, it involves the town council, all the community groups, police, National Health Service, Homes England, you name it. Everybody is going to be involved in this. It's massive. Early days to talk about any details, but hopefully after today, the work that our officers have been carrying out for the last 2 years, we can actually get it up and running off the ground, engage with everybody, and the most important thing is this is a community, so let's engage properly with the community that's there, and if we carry them with us, we'll make this work.
It's very good. Yeah, very good summary. Thank you very much for that. And yes, Councillor Jones.
This is the most, it's incredibly impressive report. Exciting, ambitious. I don't know what else to say. It's absolutely brilliant. The Health and Wellbeing Board is just completing its 5-year next stage strategy, and good housing, healthy neighbourhoods have been identified as the building blocks of a healthy life. And this is really important. It's going to make a huge difference to the residents who live there. We talk about the do maximum option, and I would like to say I would really support that do maximum option. Let's do everything we can here.
Very wise words. Thank you very much for that. Richard Wimmer.
Thank you, Leader. I didn't see anyone else indicating that they wanted to speak. So just going to the recommendations, if I may, because there's some important parts of the recommendations. You like to cover those. Well, can I just add one thing then, which is, as Councillor Horncastle has said, it's really important that we ensure that the community is fully engaged with this, and that the people in the Hurst are the most important part of this plan. And I've already started, off the back of the Cabinet report being out there in the public domain, to receive 1 or 2 emails. I've responded to one already, albeit that it actually bounced back, so I'm going to have to find a different way to contact that resident. But if people have questions in these early stages, if they're thinking about what it means for them, then we would encourage them to get in contact. I'm more than available. That's someone now.
Very quick.
They've called Jeff by accident, though. But Oh, but not to worry. If you have any questions, then do please get in contact with either your local ward member, myself or Councillor Horncastle. We'll make sure that your questions get answered in these early stages whilst we're waiting, as one of the recommendations is to appoint those 2 permanent members of staff who will then be the public face of the council in engaging with residents and the wider stakeholders. Thank you.
That's great, thank you. So, if there are no more points, questions, I really welcome this. It has been an area of work that we've talked about for a long time, but we are grasping the nettle. I'm particularly grateful to our officer Rob Murphin, who's done a huge amount of work on this through his responsibilities. I'm also very grateful to Advance Northumberland, who are contributing to the cost of our 2 new posts, as well as Benicia, who are good partners in the housing world, and I'm very grateful to them for that. I think the summary, there are 2 in this paper, there are two particular points where we are aiming to see a change, to see an improvement. One is a neighbourhood that is safe, well used, welcoming to all, and keeps the spirit and pride of Ashington alive, and a community approach where everyone who wants to can contribute and anticipate in the shaping of places and spaces, and focuses on what is strong, not what is wrong. So this is a mammoth task, there's no question about it. It's taken a lot of preparation to get to where we are today, and huge amounts of effort and hard work. And again, I thank everyone involved for getting us to where we are today. You have our full support as an administration moving forward with this. And I know that Richard Wearmouth will lead on this in a very strong, powerful way to make sure that we actually make real progress, not just tomorrow, not just next week, not just next year, but until this job is complete. So I'm deeply grateful. And I will go to the recommendations now. There are 4, which is to note the executive summary, to support the aspiration towards the option of doing the maximum we can, to establish the Hurst Partnership Board, to approve the recruitment of 2 collaborative Hurst regeneration posts, and to note the communications on the Hurst Master Plan will be integrated into the overall communication strategy for the town because, of course, as Councillor Wearmouth mentioned before, there are more projects alive now in Ashington than I can ever remember, more money coming into that town, and so together everyone will move forward. And I want to just say thank you in advance to the local members, and also to Ashington Town Council, with whom I know we will work closely, and all our other partners, to achieve this huge and massive project, which will do significant work towards maximising our tackling of inequalities. So, there are the recommendations proposed by Councillor Wearmouth, seconded by Councillor Renner-Thompson. Are you all in favour? Please show. That's unanimous. Thank you very much indeed, and thank you very much.
And Leader,
Yes.
just before we move on, yes, a big thank to Rob, and as well to Anne Lawson, who's been absolutely phenomenal in terms of the work that she's put in as well. And I'd just like to add that.
Yes, absolutely right. Yes. So thanks to Anne and to Rob particularly. Indeed, you're right. Thank you. So we move on to agenda item 6, which is our new capital proposals for this month. There are 2. One is around injecting some more money into Berwick, and the second is around our very exciting development of play zones. So the first one is the Berwick Culture and Creative Zone. I'm going to ask Councillor Watson, who leads for us on culture, to tell us a little bit about this one.
Thank you, Leader. My face is as red as the phone that just rang a few minutes ago.
Quite right.
Sorry about that, folks. Thank you for allowing me to speak on this wonderful innovation that we're having in Berwick. If people wonder what a cultural and creative zone is, I'd just like to read out one paragraph, which I think summarises the whole thing. The cultural and creative zone for Berwick is an opportunity to coordinate and scale up the town's many cultural and creative assets and activities, creating significant impact and meaningful growth of the sector. It also improves the opportunity to build on and amplify the impacts of planned strategic investments in the town, including the developments of the Malting Theatre, Cinema and Arts Centre, and Berwick Barracks. And what this doesn't mention is how we've already spent lots of money in Berwick, and in particular on a magnificent new leisure centre, which is already proving its worth in that the number of children who have learned to swim has doubled in the last year. Absolutely amazing figure to see. Most of the recommendations here are just to note. There isn't one to approve, and I'm sure the leader will take us through that in a moment.
Excellent.
But this is really part of the whole regeneration of Berwick and ties in beautifully with all the things we've done so far.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that. Any questions, any comments? Yes, Councillor Patterson.
I wonder if I could just digress slightly while we're talking about Berwick and just say that I was invited to go up yesterday to have a look at the build for the new hospital in Berwick. I have to say it is absolutely fantastic. It really is. This building and this hospital is going to serve the people of Berwick so well, but not just the people of Berwick, surrounding areas. I think people from Alnwick will be able to go up for appointments. They're getting lots of extra services in that they don't have at the moment. It is going to be absolutely wonderful. So I met yesterday with Marion Dixon, Director of Nursing and Hospital Executives, and they showed me round, and just in general, I was absolutely blown away.
Good.
Marvellous for Berwick.
Good. Yes, I agree completely. So on this particular project, I think again I need to thank officers and colleagues across the piece for this, but actually particularly the people on the ground in Berwick. The Berwick Literary Festival, for example, is a sensational event that's held each year. And volunteers really make it an extraordinary event. So culture is alive. It's a most incredible place, Berwick, in terms of its history and its culture. And so this is hopefully going to help continue the acceleration of spending and regeneration within the town, and look forward to seeing this taking place. The next one is Northumberland Play Zones. Now, who's going to tell us about play zones? I think it's, yes, Councillor Watson again.
Yes, Northumberland Play Zones is in here. I'm sure everybody's aware we have 16 sites throughout Northumberland where we are going to have magnificent new play zones, largely funded by revenue outside of the council funds themselves. You'll notice the recommendations. Again, many of them are note. There's only one to approve, which is £111,000 towards these play zones. This will help the areas of the county where to update and to modernise their activities available for the children. The first couple of play zones, which are Alnwick and Amble, are just about to start now, as soon as we get this approval through, and it will be a tremendous boost for the county. They are spread right across the county, and I know some councillors, Councillor Stewart and Councillor Scott, have contributed towards them, which is very much appreciated. This will help our inequalities, will help our children, will help our healthy lives, and I hope you all approve of it this morning.
Yeah, good. Thank you very much. I will bring in the Councillor for West Wylam, who is Councillor Stewart. Do you want to just touch on very briefly that particular one that you contributed to?
Define briefly, Leader, thank you. It is a very appropriate time because this weekend we'll be celebrating the 100th birthday of Eastwoods Park, where this new play zone will be, and I'll be there on Saturday and Sunday. There is a history behind it, and Councillor Horncastle talked about the proud history of people at Ashington. This was, the park was built, say, 100 years ago by the mining community. And in 2016, I visited the park before my first election, and I said that I'd make this a jewel in the crown for the town of Prudhoe. And this is a very big diamond in that crown. It's an area which had been abandoned for 20 years by previous administrations. it was crime-ridden. Now it is in such great demand by people who come from miles around to enjoy facilities there. This could only have been done with true and outstanding commitment from the local community. So I'd like to thank the Friends of Eastwoods Park, who took on an abandoned bowls pavilion, which didn't actually have a bowling green next to it, and turned it into a community centre and community hub. I've pledged out of my members' allowance, which is only £15,000 a year, £10,000 towards that. It is in my ward, and that's a commitment I'm showing for this. It's the latest of numerous investments into Eastwoods Park, and you had the pleasure of visiting a few weeks ago, Leader, for the £150,000 investment into the footpath around the park there. And it's not very far away from the £1.5 million Waterworld Leisure Centre that this administration's involved in. So thanks again to the officers. Cathy Keady, I'll mention her in particular, who's been given a whole stack of play zone projects to bring to fruition in this county. She's done a tremendous job. And there will be a battle on Councillor Watts because I've already got stuff lined up in Eastwoods Park, which we're hoping to start even quicker than yours up in there. So it's another very good reason to be very proud of Prudhoe, a dynamic town moving forward. So great history, but actually moving forward. So I support this funding, which has been named here in the papers today, as well as all the other funding which has been proposed and passed through council recently for Prudhoe.
Yes, okay, so thank you. So the play zones are, I suppose, in a way, a new term for multi-use games areas, MUGAs, that we remember from a few years ago. So this is almost £2 million that's going into the creation of these. A lot of this is coming from the Football Foundation. We're very grateful to the Football Foundation, and from Section 106 money and some of the money that we found as well, and of course the money in particular that those two members have kindly put forward. The 16 sites are beginning with Alnwick, Amble, the Hurst in Ashington, Newbiggin, West Wylam, and Westleigh, which is in Bedlington. And then soon, hopefully, there will be an offer letter for Cleeswell Hill in Choppington, which is a great place. If anybody's been to Cleeswell Hill, it's a great park there. So that's all good. And then later on, we're talking about Berwick, Cramington, Blythe, Holtwhistle, and Linemouth. So there we are. And the final, the portfolio 3, which is the one that will be a little bit later again, are Wooler, Seaton Valley, and East Bedlington. So great news. Very happy about these. There are two separate spending requests there. Is there a recommendation for both from Councillor Pojai? Thank you, and seconded by Councillor Watson. Are we all in favour? We are unanimously in favour. Thank you very much for that. Right. Next one is, again, an incredibly important piece of work, which is the Energy Central Campus Phase 1, which is the technical training kit and the outline business case for progressing with this enormously important project. So I'm going to ask Councillor Pojai to tell us about it.
Thank you, Leader. As you mentioned, this report is asking us to approve the outline business case for the technical training kit and general fit-out to the Learning Hub in Blythe, which is part of the 110 million Energising Blythe Regeneration Scheme. The Learning Hub is a business-led educational and innovation facility that will provide local young people a route to high-quality jobs just in their neighborhood. This technical training kit is funded specifically through Levelling Up Deep Dive funding we received. It's £21 million we received from DULUC to spend on various actions in Blythe, like £18 million to repurpose rundown and empty homes into high quality and affordable housing and convert under-occupied offices into apartments. There is also £200,000 for antisocial behaviour reduction by extending CCTV provision in Blythe and establishing new partnership between local businesses and the police. And also £1.5 million for that technical training kit that we already mentioned. This kit will include digital hardware, machinery and other specialist high-tech equipment that will be needed to deliver curriculum when the facility opens this September. So my recommendation is that we approve the report and the recommendation as shown. So all of that equipment is ready for the Learning Hub to be open in September this year. Thank you.
Yep, that's great. Thank you very much for that. Part of the £110 million Energising Blythe programme, and also, of course, we're hoping to press forward with the Blythe Relief Road. I believe the ministerial visit yesterday has moved things on a bit more, so hopefully we will see progress on that too. I think you were present at that, so that's good. Yes, Guy Renner-Thompson.
Thank you, Leader. This is an absolutely, the next stage of an already absolutely fantastic project and part of the greater levelling up scheme that's going into Blythe. You know, the Energy Central Learning Hub campus is a partnership with industry, with Bede Academy and with Northumberland Skills, which is our own post-16, post-18 skills service. So we're the ones that are going to be in there delivering this learning. You know, it's for the young people of Blythe and the surrounding area, it could be absolutely transformational, and we need to get the message out there that, you know, they don't have to leave their hometown to be able to go and get a good, well-paid job. You know, it's investment like this that's going to keep those people in their hometown. You know, instead of born in Blythe and made in the Royal Navy, we can say born in Blythe, made in Blythe, and stay in Blythe. And these sort of schemes, these learning hubs, need to be expanded across the country, because it's fantastic. You know, we know that Blythe, and particularly the North Sea, has a great future in green energy. You know, we need to make sure those jobs come from people who are already here.
Absolutely right. Couldn't agree more. Fantastic investment again. Absolutely the right thing to be doing. Similar in a way to the money we're finding for Ashington. Absolutely the right thing to be doing. Councillor Pojai, anything else from you? No. Okay. Right. If there are no questions, okay. Then can we move to the recommendations? And they are there before you. And they're proposed by Councillor Pojai and seconded by Councillor Renner-Thompson. Are you all in favour? Yes, we are. That's unanimous. Thank you very much indeed. Now, more big projects, this time on housing. And I'm going to ask Councillor Horncastle to tell us what we are about to do and why we are going to be doing it, and what the outcome hopefully will be.
Thank you, Leader. I think this follows on and away from what we were talking about earlier about the Hearst. It shows our commitment to our tenants and to good quality housing in this county. So this report, it relates to poor quality housing stock in Blythe. And before I go any further, I would just like to say that there's a lot of negative stuff in this report. It's about the properties. It certainly doesn't reflect on the tenants. There's nothing wrong with the tenants at all. It's the state and the type of properties we've got. So what have we got? We're looking at today, hopefully, to agree to demolish 103 properties, 65 flats and 38 maisonettes. They're in very, very low demand. A lot of them are standing empty, causing all sorts of antisocial behaviour, as empty properties do. They're constantly being vandalised, and our housing departments are having to go back and do the repairs to these empty properties. They're empty because nobody wants these type of properties now. When these were built years ago, one-bedroom flats and maisonettes may have been served a purpose, but they certainly don't serve a purpose now. The maisonettes have shared access on the first floor, absolutely no good for families. There's no privacy, there's no play areas, and there's a very, very low demand for one-bedroom flats. So we've looked at trying to rejig these properties, actually keep the properties as they are, but rejig them into larger properties. We've found we can't do that. It would cost far too much money. We've thrown good money after bad. But the other big problem we've got is the actual physical state of these properties, the structures. After they've been built so long, the concrete's crumbling and the lintels are cracking, window frames cracking. And one of the biggest problems we've got is the steelwork. The steelwork is corroding, so there's nothing we can actually do with these. And in the short term, they're still perfectly safe, but in the medium to long term, they've got to go. So what we're doing today is hopefully agree to demolish these buildings on Windmill Grove, Delaval Terrace, Marlow Street, Harper Street and Pinedale Drive, but look after our tenants and make them priority to get them rehoused. I'll go through the recommendations in a moment. And if we do agree to demolish these, we've then got these empty sites where we can actually build brand new, modern, energy efficient, affordable homes, the type of people that our families want. And it would just be a great asset to that area of Blythe and a commitment to our tenants. Before I run through the recommendations, recommendation 4, I'm going to slightly alter it. I'm going to change it to authorise the Executive Director of Place and Regeneration to commence negotiations. There's 2 of these properties, leasehold properties, so they have to be renegotiated to get those leaseholds back. So I'll run through the recommendations. Approve placing lettings on hold. So we don't let any of these, we can keep them empty. Approve the prioritisation of customers for rehousing. Approve to remove the existing void properties from the housing revenue account and rent roll. Authorise the Executive Director of Place and Regeneration to commence negotiations to acquire the 2 residential leasehold properties. Approve compulsory purchase order process for adjacent properties if required. And approve the demolition of low-demand stock in Blythe as detailed in this report. And I firmly support those recommendations, Leader.
Good. Thank you very much. And that's a very well presented report. Thank you for that. Any questions or queries on this piece of work? If not, I'm grateful for you running through the recommendations. They are there for us to agree. And I think this is a very fine example of saying let's just stop and start again and provide those kind of accommodation opportunities for people that are wanted, rather than trying to make do with a building or buildings that aren't fit for purpose anymore. So I think it's a significant investment, a significant amount of work, but we will end up with up-to-date, modern, affordable housing. And that is, I'm really proud that we're doing that. So great stuff, and thank you very much again. The recommendations have been proposed, I think, by Councillor Horncastle, seconded by Councillor Stewart. Are you all in favour? Could you show, please? Right, that's unanimous. And blow me down, here we are, more exciting developments taking place this time in Amble. Where we are about to begin a very major project in creating a super school opportunity for the town, as we have done in Seaton Valley. And I believe the work is going flat out down there, probably not today in the pouring rain, but in Seaton Valley that work is cracking on brilliantly. So this is the first stage, isn't it, in the operation for bringing around the new school opportunity in Amble, but I'm going to ask Guy Renner-Thompson to tell us more.
Thank you, Leader. I'm actually thinking that the work in the new Seaton Valley School will be ongoing today. They work in all weathers, but importantly, they have the wheel washers to make sure that the mud doesn't go through the village, which is a very important issue we're having over there. So yes, this is the next stage of not just our school building programme in Amble, our school building programme across the whole county. You know, you hear me say this repeatedly. We built new schools in Ponteland, new school in Hexham. We sorted out Hayden Bridge. You know, now the build is started in Seaton Delaval. This is the first stage of the build starting in Amble, and then we'll move on to Berwick Academy there. This is the first stage in the feeder schools. So Amble has gone from a 3-tier to a 2-tier system, and I have to say that has gone through with the absolute consent of the community. You know, as consultation processes go, it was very smooth sailing. All of the schools were in agreement, the community were in agreement. It was a fantastic community thing to be part of. So this report here is recommending the outcome of the tender process for the extensions to the feeder first schools to turn them into primary schools, but also the refurbishment of the South Avenue site where Amble First School is going to move into. And we've been told that the head teacher there was so happy that she was moved to tears by the fact that her school was going to get a playing field for the first time and hasn't had one ever before. And what's also very important to this administration is we're building a brand new special school for 50 children in the part of the old middle school site. Now that's going to be a satellite of the Barndale Special School in Alnwick, which we know is very popular and very well thought of. So there's another 50 spaces for children with special educational needs in Amble, which will take pressure off the rest of the county. Now, the tender has been granted to 2 companies. We've got Robertson's Construction for the main works to the South Avenue site, and then a company called Porter Cabin for the extensions to the first schools to make them into primary schools. And as with all our tenders, we ask that those, they're the main contractors, but when they use, when they put out their subcontracts for local subbies, that they use local labour. So we're hoping that go into and spread around the local communities around Amble too. And if there are any local tradespeople watching, I would tell them to get involved, get in touch with these companies and try and get involved with this fantastic new build. So I'll open it up to questions, but it really is a fantastic day for Amble and for Northumberland.
Splendid, thank you very much. I'm really pleased to hear people will be working in the weather like this. I'm going to pop across to Seaton Valley just to see if you're telling us the truth.
No such thing as bad weather, just the wrong clothes.
Councillor Watson.
Thank you, Chair. This is a wonderful thing for Amble. This is on my ward. It's something that we've been talking about for a number of years. It's been a difficult process in many ways. We had COVID in the middle of it, which slowed things down. We had the change or the views from 3-tier to 2-tier, which took some time to go through. And we've got all the feeder schools who are having to change as well to fit into this. So I'm really delighted that we've actually got as far as we've got right now. And I'm looking forward so much to seeing this completed. I'm hoping that we'll have a community school. We'll have a centre for Amble, which doesn't really have anything else. I'm thinking more in the lines of what we have at Ponteland, where it is the centre of our community. And I think we've got the makings of it here, with the schools being close to each other, with the play zone being there, with the welfare park being there as well. It's marvellous. It could do so much for our education of our young people and also living a healthy life as well. So I'm 100% in favour of this, and thank all the officers for the work they've done so far.
Excellent, good, thank you. Anything else from anyone else? So just to summarise, this is the reorganisation of schools in the Coquet Partnership. Amble First, Amble Links First, Broomhill First and Redrow First schools, and Grangeview Church of England Voluntary Control School would extend their age ranges, as will James Calvert, and together moving forward in a different way, but in a much better way. And like Councillor Watson has said, we applaud and thank everyone involved for their support in this. And I think it is a great thing for Amble. Again, it's something that we have talked about as a county council for some time, and here we are actually getting on with this first step, and the second step will be underway very soon in terms of the major contract. And hopefully we will see new schools and the pupils that deserve those schools enjoying those new schools in the not too distant future. So great news. The recommendations are there. You proposed them, Councillor Watson has proposed them, and Councillor Renner Thompson has seconded them. Are you all in favour? Please show. Okay, that's lovely. And that takes us to the end of this meeting, which has been an extraordinarily interesting meeting. Some huge projects right across the county, from Berwick to Amble, across to Prudder or West Wylam and beyond. What a wonderful way to see the county grow to see that the county, which is a place of great opportunities, to pick its place amongst the finest counties in the country. So thank you all very much for your time, and look forward to seeing you all, and thank you for joining us from home.